What's up, guys? I don't know if I've ever done a actual training session on footage, but Sam gave me a camera and was like, hey, go film your deadlift session. So you guys are gonna come watch me deadlift. I'm prepping for a meet right now in February, so I'm something like 11 weeks out, I think. I'm doing some deadlifts, nothing particularly interesting. I'm not like injured, but we kind of cut last block a little bit early because it was starting to feel a little bit sketchy. I tweaked something a few blocks ago, and we knew that I was gonna be signing up for a meet, so we're like, fuck it, we'll just make the safe call, end it early, and hopefully go into this one with a bit of momentum. So truly, I'm gonna be pulling like 500, and then doing stiff legs and accessories. If it goes okay, I'll have Sam edit and post this, and if it goes shitty, no one will ever see this. But yeah, I'm trying to do like low 500s for 10, and like 8, something like that. I'm just building up volume, getting reacclimated. It's very funny, as I've gotten stronger, it feels like my ability to go from like maximal strength to doing reps takes a little bit longer. Like my first week back to volume always feels like a little shittier than I always want it to. So doing a little bit of warm-up, like not going too hard, truthfully, but I think it's just trying to get a little bit of blood flow and hopefully keeping my work capacity high enough that my start a new volume phase doesn't absolutely kill me. So watch as I do cool deadlifts. I've actually been trying to shorten my warm-up a bit because I think I'm pretty strongly an advocate, especially as I've gotten like bigger and stronger, that warming up I think has kind of been huge, both for I think like maintaining mobility or whatever, and like I think it does have like a pretty meaningful decrease on like injury risk. Like I just feel shittier, and I think like sessions are more consistent. But also, Sam and I were talking, like there is a point of warming up that you're kind of just wasting time, and it's like, you know, most people, their lives, they've got X number of hours that they can spend in the gym, and it's like if you're spending a quarter of that warming up, it's like if you could have a slightly more condensed warm up, you could have just, you know, 2 extra sets of triceps or some extra sets of hamstring curls, and you might be getting significant benefits out of not just spending a bunch of time. And truthfully, a lot of my life is shaped around lifting, so it's like I'm not super concerned with the amount of time I'm spending in the gym, but I'm more concerned with like, you know, time between meals, and like there's a certain point in which it's like if I'm in the gym for 5 hours, am I actually getting 5 hours worth of benefits, or am I kind of just being lazy? And when it comes to warm-ups, I think sometimes I'll find like, oh, this thing feels good, and so I'll add it, and then I'll find another thing, and then I'll find another thing, and slowly my warm-up process will grow until I'm doing a bunch of stupid shit where it's like, if I'm doing, Sam and I talked about, it's kind of, you kind of want to break it up into like sections of like what you actually need to address, and a lot of the things I run into are just essentially redundancies. So it's like, do I really need to do like 8 different things to warm up my hips and quads, or can I just do one thing a little bit more thoroughly and end up saving myself whatever, probably a couple minutes, but a couple minutes across a couple things, you know, it kind of adds up. And truthfully, sometimes it feels like I'm running out of time at the end of my workouts if I have to go like pick up my girlfriend or whatever. And it's like having a couple extra minutes from saving up the warm-up might be the difference between me getting really extra, like getting focused and really doing a good job with some of my accessories. So it's kind of especially, I think my bench warm-up is pretty succinct and good right now, but specifically my squat and my deadlifts, I think I've kind of tacked too many things onto. So kind of trying to break it down into like general warm-up, just like blood flow, heart rate, internal body temperature, whatever. Just sit on the wind bike for 5 to 10 minutes. I was actually going too hard when I mentioned at the beginning that I wasn't trying to go too hard. It's because I was initially going way too hard, and it felt like a detriment to my session. And truthfully, as a powerlifter, it's not like my cardio needs to be like off the charts. It just needs to be good enough to, you know, like facilitate recovery, or whatever you want to say, and make that transition from a single to volume more smooth and such. So, you know, don't want to go crazy, but also I want to keep some amount of base cardio. And I want to get generally pretty warm and hopefully somewhat blood flow in the relevant areas for the day. So I think wind bike's nice because it's both upper body for bench and lower body. And I think both squat and deadlift have some component of it's, you know, kind of a full body movement. I want a little bit of an upper back pump. I want my legs to be warm. I hope you guys can hear me because I'm talking while stretching, and I think there's a chance that all of this audio is just fucked. In which case, Sam, cut this out. But for like deadlift, you know, especially as like I said, as I've gotten bigger, I think mobility's gotten more and more important. And like, it sounds crazy because it feels like conventional is like the stupid the caveman exercise and sumo is art or whatever. But the mobility demands are a little bit higher to get into like really good conventional positions. So I like doing a little bit of mobility, and then I kind of just look at like the major muscle groups, which is like, you know, I am using my quads, I'm using my hips. I do a decent amount of like air squats, and then I gotta get my hamstrings warm, my core warm, and my upper back warm. So the question isn't like, what's everything I can do that feels good? It's, what's the fastest way I can get everything that I need to feel good done? I apologize if there's any weird angles. I'm trying not to spend too much time setting up for this video. Little tip, I don't know if this is helpful for anyone, but you know, if you're a larger lad among the audience and you've got a problem deadlifting, specifically with grip, something that feels very silly but I found is very, very helpful for me is just do like a reverse grip hang, you know, just like a hang of a chin up as you're warming up, because I find honestly sometimes it's not even a mobility issue, or it's not even a grip strength issue. It's a mobility issue of like fully rotating your underhand. So sometimes I'll just do, or I always do like a couple sets of hangs before I deadlift. Also just some weird ab stuff. This is kind of because my back has been a little bit dicey, so just warming stuff up that stabilizes. I apologize if I'm still a little bit weird talking to the camera. I'm not super used to it, and I'm not trying to make this workout take 7 hours, like I said. Should we be? So, just finished what I'll call general warm-ups. If you can't tell by me being out of breath and unreasonably sweaty. So, time to start deadlifting. So first set done, 505 for 10. Obviously, it's nothing crazy, especially for an 800-pound deadlifter, but I'm coming back from what I call like a, it was a block derailing tweak. And so, I think something that's always I underappreciated, but I try to do my best to appreciate, is kind of those like mental confidence wins. Because, dude, a set of 10 never feels super fun or easy. But it's getting to the point where it feels like I'm pushing myself again. And I'll be honest, I want nothing more than to be able to just like hype beast pull again. And I think doing hard 10s is a very productive step back to that. And like, I don't mean to make it come out sound like this is some great comeback, because like this is just like slightly, like 2-3 blocks that have been moderately derailed, and I've pulled over 700 multiple times since this like injury or whatever. But it's good base building, yeah, very good, like laying the foundation. I want to pull like 830 in a few months, so I've got to keep putting in the work. And sometimes it's like a little frustrating to be like, oh, I've been able to pull 500 for 10 for 5 years. So annoying that I'm still doing this. But like, it's just like, it's contextualizing it for yourself. And I'll be honest, dude, I just love lifting weights. And the idea that I'm getting back to a point in which I can do hard sets, even if they're not where I want them to be yet, stoked. I'm thrilled. Just like not doing hard deadlifts for a few months, whew, it's one of my favorite things. So, gotta appreciate what you got. So I'm very stoked to get back into pushing these. Gonna do a second set. Back's a little dicey, so I'll probably do like 6 to 8 depending on how I'm feeling, and then move on to like stiff legs and accessories, and I'll take you guys with me. The deadlifts and stiff legs, there's some of my more frustrating sessions is when I have to keep an eye on like, playing it safe and being smart, because I just want to be able to go hard. But I also know that that's not what's going to make me the best lifter I can be. So just keeping an eye on how I feel on deadlifts and stiff legs and responding to that. And then once I'm done with those, I got like hamstrings. And that's where you got to make up for the effort. Boys, it's all about intensity. Get after it. So that is set number 2 done. I got a 7. Honestly, I know I'm doing a lot of like, oh, I'm injured. Pretty stoked at that. Like I said, getting hard working. I'm hoping to get 10 for at least 2 more weeks on these sets. And each week, it's getting a little bit harder. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable pushing it. So overall, that was the point of the main work done. I think I can do a little bit job. I was losing my lats a little bit, and I need to ease the bar off the floor a little bit more. I got a temptation sometimes to yank, and it feels good until it really doesn't for me. So I've got to continue working on those. When the early block, it is very hard to work on technique, but it's also probably the most productive when you're just drilling tons of reps, just fighting to maintain positions. And it's a lot easier to transition to a good late block, like having really good technique when you put in those like hard, like, sometimes I just want to come in and check the box, like put in hard work. And I think really fighting for good technique is where a lot of the gains later in the block is made. I'm sorry I'm breathing so hard. Like I said, a little bit of a hefty guy. 17 total reps, crazy. But I got stiff legs now, so we'll see. I think I got 365. I'm doing a beltless, trying to get like a pretty big stretch. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, I can also do that. I think that's fair, but I think the quality, which how you do them, matters, and also they're not my strongest movement. But I also think it's why they're gonna be very, very productive. So I'm gonna shoot for 10 to 15, depending on how my back is feeling. And then I got hamstring curls, back extensions, and abs. So get ready to hear some awkward noises as I strain weirdly, lamely hard in my garage. Speaking of spending too much time, I just had a chat with Sam about my top set, and he gave me his feedback because the gym is 15 feet away from his room. Crazy? I have not had caffeine. I could tell I was going like a million miles per hour, and I think that's because I was excited and nervous for training. I kind of have to spend a minute because my low back pump is gnarly. And so before I do stiff legs, I might do a little bit of ab work just because I have the time and I need to take a second for my back to calm down a little bit. We'll do an ab wheel to warm up for stiff legs. So I've summoned help. We'll see how long it takes to actually come. So are you honored to be included on your own YouTube channel?
Yeah. Max broke my fucking backpack to hold weights for these.
I was doing too much weight, I guess. You know, it's too fucking strong.
Now every Friday it makes me come out and hold a plate on his back.
Also very funny, for the last 2 weeks, I thought someone was holding a 45 and a 25 until like, dude, I'm crushing PRs. It turns out he was just not thinking the 45. Alright.
Good. Good, yep. Initiate it with that like crunch, not the lat pullover. Good, really good. Reach your hips a little further down the bottom. Flex the glutes through. Really good. Good. Hips through. There you go.
Doing a warm-up set of stiff legs, just because probably waited a little too long. The abs are warm again, but with a movement, especially when it's a little bit different. I know a lot of people can get away with just going straight from deadlifts to stiff legs, but I like to get that a little extra warm-up in. You guys can also see how notoriously bad I am at getting the straps on. Even figure eights, I am just terrible at getting them done fast, but we'll see if I can hit a PR right here. $365 on stiff legs. I'm trying to, I think as you get better at a skill component of a lift, getting the tempo down is a big part of it. And I had a habit of rushing these a little bit, or not rushing, but doing these too slow. And then last week, I really rushed them. So I'm hoping to find that sweet spot in between right now. Whew. Not 15, but not terrible. All right, first working set of hamstring curls. I'm not gonna lie, for whatever reason, I think a hamstring pump hurts so much, it's crazy. It's just so uncomfortable. So you guys might see me do a little bit of lame shenanigans to get out of this once I'm done with the set. Last week I did 10 pounds less for 17. So, 16 hopefully. Shit, I'll do 17, that's cool. All right. Jesus Christ. So I got a sandbag back extensions. Last week I got a 110-pound bag for 20, or I actually got it for 21, which is the rep that was, or the amount of reps that we go up at, but we don't have a lot of like in-between bags. So I'm just gonna do a 110 with a 10 on top, and if it falls off, I'm not too worried about it. These have been gnarly, I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty hard session. It's very funny because I think most of it doesn't look particularly crazy, but whew, it's pretty gnarly, and it's, you know, right now it's at 500, but when I'm doing like 600 deadlifts into, you know, 4+ RDLs and everything just keeps getting heavier, I'm very excited to lay a foundation to be a lot stronger. Whew. Ah! Just rewatched the video. It was not 22, it was 18. God damn it. So, literally just finished up the workout, doing those hang leg raises. Honestly, I'm really happy with how the session went. I think deads went pretty good. I got the 10. I think stiff legs, I wish I did 15, obviously, but I'm pretty happy with it. Where I changed my technique to be a little bit less hamstring dominant and a little bit more glute biased, and it's feeling really, really good. You know, hamstring curls, we'll see how generous Sam is with what he trims out of me overreacting to having hamstring looking a little bit stupid. And then back extensions, honestly, I think I got good work in. I think sometimes in the early block, you kind of just need to look at like, did I work hard? Did I do a good job trying to improve on my technique? Did I have technique goals coming in, and did I like execute on them properly? And like, I don't know, I feel like sometimes I just take a minute after my sessions to like be honest with myself on like whether or not I actually like did what I needed to and like really like made the most of the situation. And I never feel like I did like the absolute best I could have, but I also, you know, sometimes am like, damn, I should have worked a little bit harder. Like 2 bench days ago, I sat in my car and was like, note to self, I did not work hard enough on my last 2 motions. I was kind of breezing through them. And it feels silly having to do like self-reflection, but I think it's really productive, especially for me, because it feels like the difference between like a bad hypertrophy block and a good hypertrophy block sometimes feels very minute, where it's like maybe a meal here or there, or like an extra hour of sleep here and there, which feels like nothing, but maybe it has a small effect on your session. Maybe you don't push your accessory a little bit too hard, and maybe that like little bit of extra hamstring strength, if you hadn't, I don't know, skipped the set or worked a little bit harder or whatever, is the thing that might add up to you being strong enough, or just strong enough to like finish the rep or whatever. And if that sounds very like silly and like overly rah-rah, but sometimes I think it's good for me to just like, I'll sometimes be doing like a hard thing and it's like, oh, I don't really want to fucking do this shit. This fucking hurts. And I'm like, what if this was the difference between me squatting 800, but like for you it could be squatting 400 or benching your first 300. And just thinking about like, what if the intensity of this set was the thing that made the difference? And obviously it isn't. One bad session, don't lose your mind and be like, it's all over. I have a habit of doing that. But you know, sometimes I'll just be like, what are my goals? You know, I want to be really strong. I have these like milestones that I want to reach every block. And I think about those of like, what I would do to do that, or like, what would a stronger version of myself do? And it's like, he'd be responsible, he'd get the cooking done, he'd get this meal down. He'd put the little bit of extra intensity in for this set. So sometimes just think about like what the goal is, and that's easier to like, you know, really get like fired up, because like I think sometimes you're like fatigued. It's like you're 4 weeks into the block, you're really sore, you're hurting, you're tired on a third tertiary bench day, but that stuff does matter. And I think I gained a lot of pride from leaving sessions feeling like I gave that one like a great effort, like I did what I should. And I sometimes think just taking pride in the process and be like, damn, I went bone to Mel for. It's always all silly because it's all just lifting, but like I don't know. I like to take this stuff seriously. It's what brings me a lot of joy. So just going a little bit extra hard makes me feel good, and I think it gives me a better chance of getting my goals. I hope you guys liked the video. I'm sorry if I was talking too fast. I'm not super used to talking in front of the camera, recording a video. Let me know if you want to see more of these. I'll probably record at least one more once I'm doing a cooler deadlift session because I'm a little bit ashamed of the fact, it's like this is truly 100+ pounds below what I should be doing. But also, I think it's a little bit lame to hide my training based off like, people are going to say that they can do this too. Yeah, let me know if you guys like this. Thanks.